Tonight I'm excited. This is the first night of the whole series at Kai Kai Farm for our nice cooking class. And tonight for the first event, we have Chef Aaron Black from PB Catch in Palm Beach, and assisted, we're lucky as well, he's assisted tonight with Chef Isaac Cerny from Mariner Sand. Now he used to be at Pistache, for those that knew Isaac. Now he's got a new fancy place to go at the Mariner Sand. So welcome again, and tonight enjoy yourself.
I wanted to thank these guys for having me. This is our second time out here, and it's such a relaxing place. We really enjoy coming here and cooking. I am sad that Sarah couldn't make it, but the rest of my friends did. So the first course is some Kai Kai Farms greens with a grapefruit and balsamic dressing, some fresh grapefruit, seared white tuna, and some Cilantro Coulee. The Cilantro Coulee is a really super simple sauce that you can easily make at home and put on roasted meats, especially beef, or anything raw salmon, raw tuna. And it's got a tremendous amount of flavor, which you guys will see coming up. The first thing we want to do is we take some cilantro. This is about 2 bunches. And we took off the woodiest part of the stems, but we leave the rest because the stems of cilantro have more flavor than the leaves. Then we blanch it in hot water, boiling water, and pull it out and chalk it immediately. You want to blanch it for about 15 seconds. The enzyme and green vegetables, you want it to be 170 degrees or higher, or like 100 degrees and lower. So that's why you blanch it for 15 seconds and then put it immediately in ice water so it stays really nice and vibrant. Then you take it and squeeze it out as much as you can, and you'll see that water's kind of like brown and bitter. So the only thing that's left is that great coriander flavor. So like you'll want to do this in your blender at home. So we've already blanched and chalked this and kind of like rough chopped it a little bit and squeeze it as much as we could. So we put that in there with just a little bit of water. You really want to do just enough so it'll move in your blender. And like I'll usually put cilantro about up to there, and that's as far as you can really go without it binding up in the bottom. So I'm going to turn this on, hopefully no explosions. So you've got that going, and then you just want to kind of hit the sides down a little bit to get all the chunkies. I've lost a couple spatulas this way, but I just put it through the strainer, you're good. And you want to get it nice and smooth. Sorry. The smaller that cilantro gets, the more it tastes like coriander. The bigger it is, the more it tastes like grass. To finish the coulee, we made the puree earlier, and we kind of just make sure and keep it cold because temperature will turn the color. And then right before we serve the dish, we're going to add the acidity. Then you want to add this chili preparation that you can find pretty much anywhere. It's called sambal olek. And it has a really great chili flavor, but not a lot of spice. You get the umami of the like roasted chilies, a little bit of garlic. And this is going to give this coulee its middle, because the cilantro is going to be kind of a finish. So then this will be the middle, and then we're going to add lime juice to balance it up front. And when you cut citrus for juicing, like if you have a juicer, you cut it in half. If you're going to do it by hand, cut it at the angle like that, and you can just easily get all the juice out of a lime, which they can be kind of stubborn at times. And you want to make sure and do this right before you serve it, because the acidity in the lime juice is going to kill the color in the coulee. And then a little bit of salt. And that's it. So if you make some of this for the weekend, you would make the puree and then just mix it as you needed it for whatever meal. And you can see it's already changed color a little bit, but you guys are going to have this on the white tuna, which is a super super fatty fish, and freshness and acidity of this should really balance it out and bring it back. For course 2, we're going to do some baby carrots with goat cheese mousse, Happy Rich broccoli pesto. I'm going to make a little bit of the Happy Rich pesto for you guys. As you know, pesto is always herbs, cheese, nuts, oil, garlic. So for this guy, we like to cut off these little flowering buds off the end of this before we spin it, and then that gives your pesto like a really nice country texture to it instead of being super smooth. And we've taken this broccolini and we blanched it a lot like we did the cilantro, hot water, then chalk again to keep our color. And then we put a really nice char on it because broccoli loves char. The initial flavor of broccoli is really good, and then it kind of has maybe an off finish. But when you char it, the char becomes the finish. And I really use it a lot like that. We serve it at Catch, charred as a side. We have a vegetarian dish where we make an eggless aioli with Marcona almonds, and we char it up just like this. But right now we're going to take these florets off here, and we're going to put these to the side and just give them just a little chop so they're kind of all the same size. And then we're going to load this up with your traditional kind of pesto ingredients. We have basil here. You can do basil, oregano, parsley. Just kind of blend it however your tastes go. A little bit of cheese. And then a little bit of fresh garlic. Really have a light hand with that because it gets really spicy and can overpower everything. And then some toasted sliced almonds. And we're going to get these started with a little spin just to get everything kind of homogenized, the same size. And then we'll add a little bit of seasoning. And then we're going to start to add our oil. Also a little bit of lemon zest. Because lemon zest is a wonderful thing. You get the flavor of lemon without acidity. So you can really kind of get more lemon into something without making it too sour if you use your zest. Again, we're kind of cutting that at the angle. Make sure we don't get any seeds in there. And then we are also going to add kind of the tender part that's near the end. We're going to stay away from this fibrous stalk. But right in there, we can get about down to there, and we're just going to add that right in. And then this next step, when we're adding our oil, you really want to think of what you're using it for. So if you're using it for a pasta sauce, you want to really kind of go thin and add more oil so it can spread into your pasta easier. You might want to add cream to that so that the pesto flavors the cream. Or if you're using it like we are as a condiment on top of a roasted vegetable, we've left it kind of chunky so it can stand on its own and stay on top of the dish, give it a little bit of height. Now just gotta scrape the sides once, make sure everything gets in there where it's supposed to be. Add a little bit more oil. And now, so we've got a pretty kind of a smooth consistency there. Take that guy out. And then we're going to add our florets in to give it that nice kind of chunkiness, and you'll be able to see the char on the broccolini. And then at this point, we're just going to kind of mix it in with a spoon or a spat like this. So then you've got the cheese and the almonds have lightened the color on that, and then you add those nice florets back in there, and it kind of turns green. It has light green, dark green. It's appealing to the eye. So that's the broccolini pesto, the chard, and then we've got these baby carrots. And we just kind of rolled those in a cast iron pan with whole butter really slowly. And it takes a little bit of patience, but as it caramelizes outside, you're going to cook it more than you would a normal carrot. So it's actually getting pretty soft. But what's happening is it's getting really custardy inside, and the starch is turning into sugar. So you've got the caramelization of the carrot, grassiness of the goat cheese, the herbiness and char of the broccolini. And then on top we took some Parmesan and kind of put it out on a sheet pan and baked it until it's light brown. And then we take it off and just crumble it up in your hands with some toasted almonds and some sesame seeds. Because everything in this dish is soft, and that gives it a little bit of crunch and texture. So it looks like we're ready to serve. So enjoy. I really wanted to talk to you guys about the components a little bit. The roasted mushrooms, so we get kind of medium buttons and roast them whole. But kind of the secret to that is you really want to get all the water out of them. So we'll put them in a big saute pan with a cover on really low heat. And once you start seeing steam come out the sides, you can open it and like half the water will be out. And at that point, you turn it up to high, and you just keep moving. And as that evaporates, you might add a little bit of whole butter, and that's the time to season. Because when the water's coming out, the seasoning's just going to dilute and leave the mushroom. So you season then, and you just keep moving it. And if you think you're there, cut one in half, and you can see if it's still kind of like spongy in the middle. Because when you get these guys all the way, they're so intensely flavored, and it's super earthy with a great texture. We also have a pancetta from Italy, and it's smoked and then diced. So the mushrooms, the peas, and the pancetta are like the perfect combination, as you guys know from a lot of things. Then we are going to add some Key West pink shrimps. We get them shell on because they don't treat them. If you get them shell off, they lose so much of their flavor from the process of the industrial shelling. So if you get them shell on and you take the time to peel them, you can also make a sauce from those peels, which is really great. It's like lobster sauce light, but it's with shrimp shells, so really good. But I wanted to talk to you about our sauce real quick before these guys finish. We get parm rinds that we use, and if we don't have enough, we go to Publix because it's right next door. And we hang it in cheesecloth and we boil it for a long time. It's probably like 3 hours, and you just keep adding water. It'll get below. You just have to make sure it doesn't hit the bottom of the pan or it'll scorch and get bitter and terrible. But at some point, a little bit after 3 hours, you'll see it kind of turn red, and that's when the cheese is releasing its oil. And then it becomes bitter and nutty and wonderful. So at that point, you pull the cheese out and you reduce that liquid down until it's kind of bubbles in the bottom. So it's really intensely flavored. Then you pour in a bottle of Madeira and you reduce it down the same way, all the way dry Madeira, until it's just about to bubble. And what you're doing there is you're layering the flavors. As the flavors intensify, and then you put the next flavor in, it intensifies. If you put it all in together and reduce it, it's not nearly the same. You don't get the depth in the sauce. And then at that point, we add dry porcinis and heavy cream and just bring it down like 50%, just so it can coat the pasta. And you get this really wonderful, earthy, sweet, rich pasta sauce, and the composition is what I really like. We've been doing kind of like a weekly pasta special for a long time, and this one just keeps coming back and back.
Chefs in the kitchen, turning up the heat for the feast. We'll be dancing to a reggae song, jamming to the rhythm all night long. Cooking in the kitchen, rocking on the phone. At Kai's Music.